Have you ever wondered about the gangster culture in One Piece? Because so far throughout the story, there have been a few characters who are Italian mobster archetype. And as I mentioned in my reaction video of chapter 1183, it's very interesting how much internal consistency has been applied to them because they all come from the West Blue. What I forgot to mention is that this has been established already because in chapter 857, which is pretty funny because Whole Cake Island is an arc that focuses on Brook, much like the flashback taking place in chapter 1183. But anyway, Jinbei explains that there are 5 families of the West Blue that are all Italian mafia crime families. And Capone Game Beiji is the one who wreaked havoc upon them. However, after getting bored with the territories and taking their riches, he left to become a pirate, now the captain of the Fire Tank Pirates. What's so interesting about this is that even though he wreaked havoc with his devil fruit, the Castle fruit, and that certainly gave him the edge, we don't really know the status of the 5 families currently in One Piece, seeing as how Capone Game Beiji has been on the sea for about 2 years roughly. So with that being said, so far we have Beiji, Marlon, and Mulan. The Mulan family are the new family that we see in chapter 1183 that seem to have a pinstripe theme and ride on zebras. However, Don Marlon is a guy who was a part of the Rocks Pirates and is one of the Rocks Pirates that actually died during the whole Rocks Herald flashback that we just came out of. So it's very interesting now thinking about all of the gangster coded characters that we've seen, that what is actually going on in the West Blue. And it's weird thinking about it now that seemingly Capone had such a power grab over everybody else due to his devil fruit abilities. So it makes you think, based on all the characters that we've seen so far from the West Blue, how rare are devil fruits in the West Blue exactly? Because he's the only character that seems to have significant power and a grasp on said abilities who comes from the West Blue. Everybody else who's from the West Blue either doesn't live there anymore, like Gecko Moria and such, or we know nothing about. So it's something really interesting to think about, especially seeing as how there's so much time between Capone's reign of terror and where the other two existed, because we're talking about a span of 70 years for the Milan family. And when it comes to Don Marlon, we're talking about at least 20 or so. So it's really something to think about. And I wonder if we're ever going to see the status of the families right now in current One Piece. So I just wanted to bring that up because it's been very consistent that we've been getting gangster characters from the West Blue. And I didn't really know that this was established lore already, but it very well is. So I am excited to see what this flashback tells us about the mafia families of the West Blue, if it goes into context about them at all beyond just seeing the Milan family. So with that being said, if you are enjoying the video so far, click the like button. And if you want to see more from me, click the subscribe button, followed by that bell so you never miss a video. In addition, if you could, hit the hype button because it really does help. With that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede Works.